There's power in a drumbeat on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're not OIC. Any day, go forever. Oh, can't stingery. Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're not OIC. ST loyal forever. Someday in North County. Desert to islands, get back on you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team.
Welcome to the Loyal Locals podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Dyer, back for another week of moping and complaining about the performance of your San Diego Loyal on the field. Another loss this weekend. The push for that home playoff game becoming ever more fraught. Definitely need to get points, but the good news is there are several matches coming up in a very short amount of time that the team has every opportunity to overcome the recent issues and make our dreams come true for another home playoff game at Torero before hitting the old dusty trail. We do have a lot to get to tonight. Also, as far as supporters business, we are going to have a lounge at 9 p.m. So if you are watching this, please make a point to come to the lounge where we're going to have some members of leadership in to talk a little bit about something we touched upon last week, and that is the next steps for the locals and what happens with the locals after San Diego Loyal says sayonara. But we do have some soccer stuff to talk first, and to help me do that, producer John Cross is here. John, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. I'm really feeling I am turning over this new leaf of optimism, now that we know that there's an expiration date on the team. I'm no longer going to be playing Mozart's Requiem during the show. I'm no longer going to, bring the energy down with prognoses of doom. Instead, I'm here to tell you that we're winning out the season. 3 points per match, rocketing up the standings, securing the home playoff match that all of these supporters and fans of San Diego Loyal deserve so much for the last 4 seasons of steadfast support through the pandemic, through everything. This short amount of time, we've, I'm just saying we deserve it. I think it's going to happen. I'm manifesting. I'm rereading, and reading again the Secret. All of that stuff is true. It works. We're manifesting this home playoff game. We're manifesting the wins. It's not a big crock, and it wasn't just a big scam to sell books to desperate people. It's real. So let's do this. It's going to happen, and it's going to start tomorrow night up the coast in Monterey Bay. Do we need to talk about what happened this weekend first, though?
We probably should. Maybe very, very little, but probably should talk a little bit. Maybe see there are some positives to take out of there as we go into our final 6 matches of the season.
I didn't get home until halftime, so I didn't watch the first half of the match, but we did have it on in the car safely, of course. I wasn't watching, but it was on in the car. So another game without a goal. Okay. Another game where we control possession. Another game where, we're just, I don't know. And I think with this style of soccer, you have to expect this at some level, but when the defensive breakdown doesn't come, when you're constantly just bashing your head against the wall, um, I feel like something has to happen. Something has to break through, and maybe you need to break the mold a little bit. I don't know. What were your impressions from this match Saturday?
Well, I guess I should first say maybe unfortunately we're both coming at this from a little bit of a bad perspective since you missed the first half, at least just listening to it, not really watching it. And unfortunately, Saturday was one of my not so good days, so my my recollections of the game aren't terribly strong, and I did not go back and watch it. And I do remember being very frustrated for much of the match. I, like, and again, I'm not the big tactics person and don't pretend to be, but I was very frustrated with what our tactics appeared to be in the first half. The complete vacating of the middle of the field, pulling Corona consistently out wide on the right. Clearly, we thought we could take advantage of something and work out on the side, but we just, when they would counter or something would happen in the middle, people were really out of position. And then in the second half, there was a 20-minute stretch where I think we played like we all feel we can play and would like to see us playing all the time. And unfortunately, in those moments, their goalkeeper stood on his head and made some great saves. You know,
This
again,
came up
like any
on.
game.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I,
Well, I was
I,
going to say,
I, go ahead. Yeah. Finish your
sorry,
thought.
like any game, um, they're fine margins, and you know, if you're able to score in those situations, it certainly changes the way the rest of the game is going to play out. Or if you have a goalkeeper who makes incredible saves, and we've been on both ends. We've had games where you know we haven't made the plays and people have scored against us, and we've had games where Koke stood on his head and kept us in a match that could have gone terribly sideways if those chances would have gone in. And it's frustrating to watch, especially the way for me, especially the way the first half played out. But when we had our opportunities to take good shots and get some shots on goal, their goalkeeper came up big, and we just didn't have any more answers after that. It just kind of, once he made a few big saves, we seemed to just kind of slow back down afterwards and didn't have much punch at the end of the match.
Yeah, it came up on Discord. The goalie, and I think he was probably the man of the match as well. I don't know if for some reason we always seem to make the other team's goalie look pretty good. I don't know if it's bad luck, if they get extra amped for loyal, or if some of our shot placement isn't ideal. If I don't know if we're not putting the ball in the hard to reach corners like you would like to see. I don't know. I hate to nitpick shots on goal to that extent because those shots do go in as well. But there were opportunities in the second half, and I think some changes were made. Ronaldo Damas came in and he looked. I mean, he plays with like his hair on fire. He really chomps at the bit, and he's always, looking to score and very dangerous in that way. But I don't know if I think Perez and Damas, and these are like our energy, and to an extent, I think like Bodley is as well has kind of proven himself to be a pretty good spark plug on the wing. But these are, I mean, Damas is at the top. Perez has been playing on the wing. Bodley's on the wing. Where's the support in the middle? Where's the threat in the middle? Where's it coming from? I think Colin Martin had a shot. I don't know if that was in the first half or second half, but he did get a shot, but the attack just is so one dimensional. We don't have a dynamic attack. It's I would imagine, I'm not a coach. Hey, what do I know? But I would imagine game planning for San Diego Loyal is a pretty well understood thing amongst the coaches in USL, because they've all seemed to figure out what they need to do defensively to stop what we want to do, and we don't seem to change what we're going to do in reaction to that.
I think that's the bigger thing. What you said, the last part is we don't seem to change or adapt. We and I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, probably whether that's good or bad depends on what results you ultimately get as the season plays out. But we seem to be determined, no matter what, during the season as we move forward, to always try to play our way and just be better than the other team. And sometimes in a match, the other team is either outplaying you or they've out coached you or matched you tactically. And while we'll do little wrinkles in our system and what we do, we don't seem to. Um, I don't know. I guess I get, maybe just to put it in the simplest terms, we don't seem to have much urgency at the end of a game when we're behind. We will still do the patient build up, looking for the opportunity, and in the last 5 minutes, take one or two offensive chances instead of, as you see a lot of teams do, that sometimes those tactics go out the window a little bit in the last 5 minutes and like, let's get it up there and just try to make something. Let's just put extra pressure on them. And you're right. I think other teams, knowing that we play this style, like, you can just kind of sit back and say, great, pass it around amongst your fullbacks for 2 minutes. That's fine with us.
We're so vulnerable to the counterattack. I think that really stops us from taking chances, even with the game on the line and points on the line at the end, because we are so vulnerable to that counter that, they don't want to just put it up, try that through ball. They don't want to give it away, because if they give it away, we're in trouble. So, it does get, I will say it gets old watching the back line kick the ball between themselves for long stretches of time.
Especially late in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the tactic, right? That's the style. And that's what you would like to see. But the element of that, like, I think one of the first things that we mentioned was, like, if you're not getting that breakdown, if you are not, breaking down their defense, then what are you doing? You're spinning your wheels. And we've just seen that a lot this season. And when it works, it works, but it doesn't always work. And,
well, I think that's the frustrating thing, because when it does work and we are firing on all cylinders and we're connecting passes and people have good touch on the ball, we can work through any team, right? So I think that's also the frustration, is that when it works, it really works and it's fun to watch and it's fun to see. But when it's not clicking, then it just is tedious and frustrating as a fan, right? As a fan, it is.
Yeah. Despite all of this negativity, I am optimistic that we are turning a corner once again, rounding the bend. The home stretch is upon us. We have an away game tomorrow against Monterey Bay, who are south of us in the table, if you think that matters. Then we have a series of weekend home matches, 3 of them. And I think, John, you mentioned before the show that interspersed with these 3 home matches are a Wednesday away match. So a lot of games in a short amount of time, but that is plenty of opportunities to get points and secure this home playoff match. And this all starts tomorrow in Monterey.
All right, we have 18 points on the table. We have 3.5 weeks to get all those 18 points. And if we do that, we we should control our destiny to have that home field playoff match. We won't need help from someone else. But like you said, it starts tomorrow in Monterey.
So there is a contingent of supporters heading up the coast. I would think that anybody watching or listening to this that wants to go has already made arrangements to do so. I would hope. I don't know anything about Monterey Bay. I know I believe Siaha is still in goal for them. Do you know?
I believe so, but I am not 100% certain about that. They have a again, it's like any team in the West. They're not a bad team. They have good players. They've just been inconsistent. And I think we talked about this pre-show before we came on. I think anybody who looks at the rest of our schedule, even though all those teams, as you just said, are south of us in the standings, even Las Vegas, they're all capable of beating any other team in the division, right? So
Vegas just beat Orange County and ended their streak of their unbeaten streak. So you can't even look past Vegas, unfortunately, which they have not performed well against Loyal historically. That's always kind of been one where we kind of pencil in the W at the beginning of the year, but it's not a given.
No, so they'll have a test tomorrow at Monterey Bay, and there are a few people, as you said, going up there, but there is a watch party as well at Alesmith for anybody who can make it on a
day
night.
I can say, because I saw it on the app formerly known as Twitter, that there will be sound on the TVs this time. I
did see that, yes.
Going to be able to hear the commentary from Monterey. So, and returning is the Loyal Pub Ale, which is an ESB that's sold out in can form, but it's going to be on tap. So, plenty of opportunity to get your fill of the Loyal Pub Ale and actually hear the match this time. I saw some chatter in Discord. They are not stashing us up at the top sweltering balcony. Well, it probably won't be hot tomorrow, but I think they're having trivia night. We're going to be somewhere else up there, or not upstairs, maybe somewhere downstairs. So you'll look for the Loyal fans, and you'll be in the right place.
Right. Yeah. If you want to go watch it with people, Alesmith is the place to go. It is also the team's official watch party for this match. But of course, if you want to go to Fair Play or Northern Pine, those are both options always if you are a member of the locals and you want to go catch it somewhere a little more local to where you are.
So let's talk about the home match, because that's what we're going to be amped to go and do. Now, this is another Sunday afternoon home match. Is this our last
Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. home match?
Now, this is our last Sunday afternoon match of all time, ever.
Probably. I don't know if we have a home field. If we have a home match,
oh gosh,
we will go on a Sunday. I just don't know what time it will be. I think they'll go in the evening.
They won't
like
do that.
5, maybe. I don't know.
Oh man, they're going to do us so dirty. When was the last the playoff game last season? Wasn't it a Saturday night?
I believe it was Sunday also, because we're in. If it matches on a home football game for Terrera Stadium, which is usually Saturday, then
so here's a question:
Sunday.
Why don't they move the football game to Sunday?
Yeah, they have priority.
Okay,
we
that's
play
right.
at Grandma's house. We are guests.
Okay, so Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Right? Setup will be at 11.
I would double check Discord, but traditionally, yes, 4 hours before kickoff. But sometimes on Sundays, I don't know. I think because it's so early in the morning, we nudge that a little closer to noon. So the one thing I am not certain about is where the pregame will be for this, because there was a lot of talk initially about doing one at Coronado and one at Deft as we get to these last couple home matches. I don't know if that's still part of the conversation, so pay attention to Discord and the socials for where the pregame will actually be this week. But that is, I'm not sure that has been completely decided. And if it has, I didn't get word of it before we went on air tonight. So double check Discord for where the pre-match will be, and we'll do the meet at the fountain for the march, all the normal stuff, vote for man of the match in the 70th minute, and meet up at O'Brien's afterwards.
So this will be the last offsite game day pregame, because the next 2 weekends
Correct.
are Saturday night matches, and we are going to have the return of the barking lot at USD. So that should be hopefully a good time for everybody. If these do end up being, if something goes south and we end up not getting that home playoff game, these will be the last hurrahs at home, barring a playoff miracle.
Right. Yeah. So there are chances. Hopefully, we can get a lot of people out there to the parking lots and get a good march in, which I imagine we'll do the march, try to time with the player walkouts like we normally do, and get a good showing for our last couple guaranteed home matches here for the parking lot.
All right. I know you have some supporter business to also touch on.
Right. So, couple of things. I'm just double checking my notes here. First, in general, of our final game of the season being at Las Vegas, I believe the number is well over 100 people who are attending now. So, the hotel, there's a link for hotel options in Discord. So if you haven't done that, you're thinking about going, make arrangements, use the link. I don't know as we get closer and closer how availability and prices might change. So if you're interested in going, get that set up as soon as possible.
The good
The
news
ticket
is
link is also available.
the good news is being on Fremont, if the hotel that we have the block, if it gets filled, then there are several hotels right around Fremont that you're going to be within walking distance of everybody. And it's not going to be like when you stay on the strip and you got to get on that dang monorail and walk 1,000 miles to meet up with everybody. Fremont is not that experience. It's very compact and everything is pretty close together. So if you don't get that hotel, there's lots of other hotels, even better hotels right there on Fremont. So you're not going to be left out. Still kicking myself not being able to make this one, but I know it's going to be fun.
I also think, and again, someone else will have to double check, because then maybe if I get a chance, I'll look it up here. But I believe the Raiders have a home game that weekend as well. So that is part of the concern with tickets and other things. So if you're planning on going, make arrangements. As we've said, we've got several flights that are heading out there with lots of locals on them. We have people driving out there. We have people carpooling and making arrangements. So if you want to get involved in any of that, jump on Discord and check out those conversations. There is a special channel thread within Discord. Right now, it's just for inviting people in if you're actually planning on going on the trip, so people can help coordinate things. So if you're planning on going and you're not part of that channel, send a link to anybody in leadership and they will help get you set up with that. So that's the first big thing. The second, as we're getting towards the end of the year, we need to start thinking about all our typical things we do at the end of the year, and especially since this is our last end of the year with the Loyal. So one of those is Player of the Year. So start thinking about who you think should be Player of the Year. Those
Vegas
voting for that will be coming up fairly soon because we have to get all that organized and arranged and figure out what the gift is going to be. It's going to be hard to top the guitar for Vassell last year, but Player of the Year is something we need to look at. I hear rumors. I don't know if it's confirmed that we're going to do something like last year, where we're going to get all of Section 109, be able to get down on the field for the second half of that final match. So we will do Player of the Year and everything down there at the end of the match with everybody on the field like we did last year. We also would this year like to try to do a thank you video. Now, we've done thank you videos in the past where we've crowdsourced them. We put out a script or something and get people to send in their recording of it. We splice it together and put something together for the team. We are trying to work a way both to do that and get it to play in the stadium after the match when we're down there with all the players down on the field post-match. So
you're going to make us cry at the soccer game. You're going to make everybody cry at the daggum Player of the Year ceremony with this video. Everybody's going to be bawling. Oh my gosh.
So from a logistics standpoint, that's really only a couple of weeks away here. So we need to get moving on that pretty quick. I know I've been in conversations today. We're finalizing script and some other ideas. So it's Tuesday right now as we're recording. So I would imagine in the next couple of days, you'll probably hear something on Discord where we're going to start soliciting requests for video clips for you to record something special that we can put together as a small video package to be played in the stadium at the end of the match. So please be on the lookout for that. And if you are willing to participate, please join in, because these always work better the more people we can get involved to contribute something, and splicing all those things together has a much stronger feel as a message from the group than it does as just one or two representatives possibly saying something. So I've worked on those. So the videos we've done the last few times, they're always fun to put together and to see, what people chip in and send. So please, when the call comes out, I hope we can get, since it's our last one, as many people as possible to help with our crowdsourcing of our video clips and get them in timely, so that we can actually edit it and put it together in time for the match there. So that, be on the lookout for that. And then the last thing is, we have a lounge episode coming up here in 20-ish minutes at 9:00 tonight for anybody who's watching live, to talk specifically about our transition plan and our first membership survey that should be out tomorrow on Wednesday.
I'm going to jump in.
We're going to spend a whole episode talking about that.
Encourage everybody to come back for the lounge. Things are going to, another thing for the end of the year, a lot of stuff, the elections for locals leadership is coming up. We're going to talk about that, what it's going to mean. So if there's going to be elections, that means that there's a future. So if you want to hear about that future, it has not been decided yet. We're going to talk about it at 9. So please come back. And if you are listening on the podcast, that will be the next podcast on your feed. So listen to that. All right. And we will be back in 15 minutes. And then next week, if you're on the podcast. Thank you all.